I'm Joe Day, and I'm at the Santa Fe County Fairgrounds at a conference on a subject basic to where we live, water. Specifically, farmers, ranchers, gardeners, and experts in the field talked about how to better sustain agriculture and life in this dry part of the United States, especially now in a time of drought. Pat Torres is the Santa Fe County Extension Agent.
Some people would say that water is the most important issue in the Southwest.
I would concur with that. And without water, there's really no life. Yes, we could harvest water, but again, here in the arid Southwest, sometimes that can be a challenge, especially on years like this year.
Okay. First of all, tell me your name.
Billy Niffin.
And you are a specialist, obviously, in collecting rainwater. Why is that important? And I'm speaking now to people who might be listening who are not in the agriculture business. Why is it important to the general public to do what you're doing?
Yeah. For as rainwater and capture it, I mean, we've got two things. We're looking at our population growth, how are we going to meet those water demands for future. If we do not have enough, or if our water quality is not good enough, rainwater capture is certainly what we'd like to do. Plants love rainwater better than they do municipal water, so they're thriving and crying for it. So that's something that's certainly good for them, as well as looking at then our needs and how we manage all of our water supplies for future needs, as well as take care of what we have right now.
But it can be expensive to set up a rainwater catchment system, isn't it?
Well, that's it's expensive, but that's why we start with rain barrels. I can start with that very cheaply and then get started and then maybe add another rain barrel, extend that on out.
What if it doesn't rain all that much, as is the case in this area?
Well, that's always been the case. We've got to find water supply somewhere. When our aquifer goes down, our lakes in, our rivers in, reduce, and we get into water restrictions, I may save this for those times to utilize it.
Just one more question. Do you think more and more people are doing this?
Yeah, they are. I mean, that's why I'm traveling all over the United States from coast to coast and top to bottom, is because we all see that need. Our population, our water supplies, we got changing climate. We're looking at then those drought situations. How do we meet those needs? And it's all of us got to be a part of that solution.
I'm with Cindy Lair of the Colorado Department of Agriculture. Why is a conference like this so important? Why is attention to this subject so important?
Well, water in the West is a huge issue. We have growing populations that continue to like the lifestyle of the West. We also have a very vibrant agricultural community and industry throughout the West that depends on the water diversions that we've spent a lot of money and time to be able to create, so that we have that sustainable ag water.
Hi, I'm Brian Hurd from Mexico State University's Department of Agricultural Economics and Ag Business. Yeah, well, certainly in the West, as in many arid regions around the world, there's a natural scarcity of water, and there's multiple uses that the water could be put towards. Here in New Mexico and in most of the West, there's competition for those water resources between the agriculture and the cities and the riparian ecological environmental systems.
Can a balance be achieved, and if so, how?
Well, a balance will have to be achieved, because somewhere that water will be used. What we want to do is try and find a reasonable balance that creates perhaps the least amount of damage if we're talking about living with a new normal of less water on average, less rainfall, less stream flow. We'll have to make some accommodations, create a situation where the drought that is part of the nature of this world out here, where that drought doesn't necessarily create some catastrophe, that we have a way to live within the rhythms and patterns of the water that we have. I think there are innovations and there are ways we don't probably need nearly as much water as we use, both in the cities and in agriculture. I can still see lots of places where we can cut back without really harming our well-being, our health, or our livelihoods.
What would be an example of that, or examples?
Well, a clear example is outdoor water use.
Are you confident that the conflict between the urban use and the agricultural use of water can be resolved?
I think with enough people, enough smart people willing to work on it, I think anything can be resolved. And I think it takes coming to the table with a spirit of trying to figure it out rather than fight. Our goal in Colorado is to have these different plans in place where all of the water users, all of the stakeholders are at the table, and they're able to figure out ways to work together, and it's like pulling teeth. But I think it can be done.
At the Santa Fe County Fairgrounds, for KSFR News, this is Joe Day reporting.